Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're taking a look at the OnePlus 13.
Yeah, you guys sent in a pretty cool YouTube review. Looks like OnePlus is trying to shake things up again.
It does. So, we'll break it all down. Big question. Is this thing really a flagship? Especially at this new price?
Right, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
They used to be the flagship killer, right? Great phones, but cheaper. Now they're going right for the big guys.
And that price? Whew. The OnePlus 12, you were looking at like, what, 65,000 rupees?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
This one, they're saying 70 to 75.
Oh, yeah.
That's a jump.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, got to see what we're getting for that extra money.
Absolutely. Right off the bat, the reviewer was loving that new design. They're using this Wagan leather on the back now.
Oh, yeah. And I know you're a big fan of leather phones, right?
Love them. Always feel so much more, I don't know, classy.
Yeah, that premium feel.
Totally.
Yeah.
But do you think with leather, it'll hold up?
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly known for being tough.
That's true. I'd want to see long-term reviews, how it handles wear and tear.
For sure. And the sides are flat now, not curved like they used to be.
Yep, big change. You always said those curved screens gave you accidental touches, didn't you?
Oh, all the time. I'd be holding it, suddenly I've zoomed in on some random picture.
Happens to the best of us.
So yeah, flat sides, big plus for me.
That makes sense. And speaking of the screen, the reviewer was going on and on about it.
Oh yeah, over 94% screen-to-body ratio, they said. Barely any bezel at all.
Which is amazing, because this thing's still a decent size, 6.82 inches, right?
Yeah, but they said it felt manageable.
Those tiny bezels, it's like all screen, but not a giant phone. And the tech they packed in, 2K resolution, LTPO for the refresh rate.
Up to 120 hertz.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about you, all that gaming you do.
Oh, that'd be buttery smooth.
No lag at all. And I was curious about the brightness. They're saying 4,500 nits.
Which is absurdly bright.
Right. You were saying you can never see your phone in the sun.
Forget the sun, this thing will probably light up the whole beach.
I know, right? But bright screens, they use battery.
True, true. So, gotta see how long this thing lasts.
Have a look under the hood. We've got the Snapdragon 8 Elite, the 3nm one.
Top of the line.
Plus LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 4.0 storage. This thing should be insanely fast.
Those are the kind of techs you want. Everything just snaps.
You were saying you do a lot of multitasking, right?
Yeah.
Switching between apps, all that.
All day long.
This thing won't even blink. And the battery's huge. 6,000 milliamp.
More battery anxiety, huh?
Reviewer said moderate use. You're looking at a day and a half, maybe even two. Heavy gaming. Still get through the whole day.
Not bad at all. And they somehow kept it thin, too, with that big battery.
Pretty impressive. So hardware seems great. But what about the software side? OxygenOS running on Android 15, at least in India.
Right, because the Chinese version uses ColorOS, I think. But OxygenOS, it's always been pretty clean. Close to stock Android.
Simple, easy to use.
Yeah. Reviewer did say they wish the support was longer, though. 6-7 years of updates like some other flagships.
Makes sense. At this price, you want to know it'll last. All right, let's talk cameras. This is where things get a bit, well.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe. Specs-wise, it's got it all. 50-megapixel main sensor, 50 ultra-wide, 3x periscope lens.
And of course, gotta have the Hasselblad name on there.
All the fancy branding.
Yeah.
You're into landscape photos, right? That periscope lens for those mountains and stuff.
Looking nice getting those faraway shots.
But the reviewer, they weren't totally convinced. Said it takes good pictures, but
not maybe the best, especially compared to other phones in this price range.
So what do you think? Did OnePlus cheap out on the camera to keep the price down? Or is it a software thing?
It's hard to say without really testing it out ourselves. They're working with Hasselblad on the image processing, but maybe there's room for improvement.
I guess we'll see when it actually launches here. Okay, on to durability. This is where the OnePlus 13 shines, I gotta say.
Yeah, they went all out.
IP68 and IP69 rating. Dust, water, even high-pressure jets. Huge improvement over the 12.
You're always taking your phone on adventures, hiking and all that, right?
Oh, yeah.
This thing, you could dunk it in a river and it'd be fine.
Pretty much. And they've got everything else you'd expect. Ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, 5G, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4.
Even an IR blaster. Who uses those anymore?
I have no idea. But hey, it's there.
It's there. So they really did try to pack it all in. Seems like they want that true premium experience.
They do. But the big question, can they justify the price? All right, let's get down to brass tacks. Starting price, 70 to 75,000 rupees. That's for the 12 GB RAM, 256 GB storage model.
And they've got higher options, too, if you need more space.
Oh, yeah, for those who need it all. But at that price, it's in the big leagues now.
competing with the heavy hitters.
So let's talk competition. What else is out there in this price range that people should be looking at? You've always been an Android fan, but I know you've had your eye on those iPhones.
Yeah, that Apple ecosystem, it's tempting.
For sure. And in this price range, you're looking at the iPhone 15 or the 15 Plus.
Right, those are the ones to beat. iPhones, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Smooth, great cameras.
And all that Apple stuff just works together seamlessly.
Exactly. But you do lose some of that freedom that Android gives you, customizing things.
True. I do like to tinker with my settings. Okay, what about Samsung? Their Galaxy S24 series is always a big deal.
The S24s are definitely up there. I mean,
Yeah.
those AMOLED screens, they're just gorgeous.
Oh, love it.
And the cameras are great. Performance is top-notch.
But they can get pricey, even more so than this OnePlus.
Sometimes, yeah. Depends which model you go for.
And we can't forget the other guys, the ones who are really pushing things in the flagship world.
Right, like who are you thinking of?
Vivo's X90 Pro Plus, I've heard amazing things about that camera. And Xiaomi's 14 Pro for pure speed. That charging is supposed to be insane.
Yeah, the Vivo, if photography's your main thing, that's a serious contender. They've really upped their game.
But I've heard their software can be a bit.
Yeah, a bit hit or miss sometimes.
Mhm.
Not as polished, maybe.
And the Xiaomi, while it's fast, sometimes I feel like they cut corners elsewhere. Like the camera's not as good or the software's not quite there.
It's all about trade-offs, right? They
Yeah.
focus on one thing, maybe something else suffers.
So with all these options on the table, where does the OnePlus 13 fit in? Is it a true flagship or just a mid-range phone with a flagship price tag?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, it seems like they're trying to find that balance. You've got the top-tier specs, the nice design.
And they're really pushing the performance and battery life, which for you are pretty important.
Definitely. But they're going up against some serious competition. Companies that have been doing this for years, especially with cameras and software.
The reviewer did say that OnePlus has a lot of loyal fans, so maybe that brand recognition helps them.
Could be. But they also said, if OnePlus wants to play at this level, they have the E to improve the camera. And maybe offer longer software support. That was another thing.
Makes sense. Those are the two areas where they need to prove themselves.
Yeah, if they can nail those, this could be a real contender. But right now, it's a bit of a question mark. Potential's there, but...
We need to see more. Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're trying to decide OnePlus 13 or one of these other flagships. What advice would you give them? What should they think about?
I always say, start with your priorities. What really matters to you in a phone? Is it the camera, the software, how fast it is, how long the battery lasts?
Like for you, you've said you want a clean, simple software experience, and battery life is huge. So you'd want to really look into OxygenOS, see how it performs day to day.
Absolutely. And see if those battery claims hold up in real-world use, not just what the company says.
Right. And for you, you're always out and about. So that IP rating on the OnePlus, that could be a deciding factor.
For sure. Knowing I can take it anywhere and not worry about it getting wet or dusty, that's peace of mind.
And it's worth thinking about the whole ecosystem too. You know, if you're deep into Google stuff or use a ton of Android apps, maybe the Galaxy S24 or even the Pixel 8 make more sense.
Yeah, you're already invested in that world.
But if you're open to trying something new, the iPhone 15 is always tempting.
Always. And hey, don't write off those other guys, the Vivo, the Xiaomi. They might not be as well known, but they're doing some really cool stuff.
Pushing the limits. It's a tough choice, isn't it? So many good phones out there.
That's what makes it fun, right? There's something for everyone.
Exactly. And new phones coming out all the time, it's exciting.
It never gets boring. But yeah, do your research, read reviews, maybe even try holding a few different phones in your hand before you decide.
Great advice. I think we've given everyone a lot to consider. The OnePlus 13, it's an interesting one. Not a sure thing, but...
Definitely has potential. We'll have to see how it plays out. But before we wrap up, I wanted to leave everyone with one last thought.
What if we stopped thinking so much about specs? You know, benchmarks and all that.
What do you mean?
Like, what if it's more about the feeling a phone gives you? The whole experience.
Oh, interesting. I get it. Like, yeah, numbers are one thing, but...
Yeah. But how does it fit into your life? Does it make things better? Does it, I don't know, make you happy to use it?
That's a good point. We can get caught up in the tech stuff, but...
Yeah. Does it feel good in your hand? Is the software easy to use? Does the camera actually help you capture those moments you want to remember?
Those are the important questions.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about having the most powerful phone. It's
Kind of connect to you somehow.
Exactly.
And I think that's a big takeaway from this whole deep dive. The OnePlus 13, yeah, it looks good on paper, but...
But the real test is when you use it.
Exactly.
So yeah, read those reviews, watch some videos, maybe even go to a store, hold it in your hand.
See what it feels like.
See if it gives you that spark, you know?
We've covered a lot, haven't we? The design, how fast it is, the cameras, all the other phones it's up against.
It's a whole world out there.
It is. But at the end of the day, the choice is yours. Which phone do you want to be your companion in this crazy digital world we live in?
That's a good way to put it, your companion. So let us know what you think. What matters most to you in a phone? Are you thinking about getting the OnePlus 13?
Head over to our social media. Let's keep the conversation going.
We always love hearing from you guys.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.